Subscribe to the MTL World at Mythal World 1 YouTube channel. Swallowed Star 2, Land of Origin. Volume 10, Breaking Through with Force. Chapter 375, The Xuanhuan Life and Death Tao. 13th of Volume 10. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. Luo Feng's origin system is different from the Xuanhuan ancestors' life cores. The Xuanhuan ancestors' life cores are naturally born with them. As they evolved, their life cores gradually advanced step by step. These cores encompassed the mysteries of numerous Taos, boundless energy, and even their souls. Thus, if a life core shattered, the Xuanhuan ancestor would perish as well. The lords, however, had no fatal weaknesses. Naturally, Luo Feng wouldn't create a fatal weakness for himself. After comprehending the mysteries of the origin, he developed an origin system perfectly suited to him. Luo Feng's origin core did not contain his soul. It merely accumulates boundless energy. It lacks the ability to evolve and did not contain his soul. It is a simplified version of a life core. After all, a single origin core is inferior in comparison to an Xuanhuan ancestor's life core. But with countless origin cores, the sheer volume of life force would far surpass that of any Xuanhuan ancestor. Discarding weaknesses, embracing strengths, and grasping the essence. With Xuanhuan power as the foundation and the spiritual will as the guide, life and death are intertwined to form the origin core. Billions of origin cores are incapable of evolving on their own, and Luo Feng does not need them either. As a practitioner, their strength lay in comprehending the essence of power. As long as the Tao remains unbroken, the Lord is undying and indestructible. This time, it was far more perfect than the previous 15 clones, and Luo Feng was certain to advance further in the Xuanhuan life and death Tao. Yet, after failing tens of millions of times, Luo Feng didn't assume he would succeed this time. But as long as he made progress, he was inching closer to success. The origin land. Brother Lang truly is remarkable, breaking through from a high-level Xuanhuan life form to a world-class Xuanhuan life form by comprehending his bloodline. A horned man sighed and said as the three figures drank and chatted. It was just luck. I happened to encounter a Xuanhuan bloodline that perfectly resonated with me, Tinlong K replied humbly. He was still humble in front of the world-class Xuanhuan existences, because he knew that this was likely his limit. Comprehending over 70% of a world-class Xuanhuan bloodline, Brother Tinlong's foundation is profound. You have the potential to reach world-class Xuanhuan perfection. A red-nosed old man praised. Tinlong K smiled faintly. His pursuit of comprehending over 70% of his bloodline was precisely to reach world-class Xuanhuan perfection. Of course, that is also his absolute limit. He had heard that practitioners of the fusion path, before breaking free from the cage, could comprehend multiple world-class Xuanhuan bloodlines despite their pitifully low mental processing speed and comprehension abilities. Their innate potential far surpassed his. Yet, among those who walked the fusion path and took the bloodline path, aside from Lord Negu, none of them had become lords. For beings like Tinlong K, who ascended from high-level Xuanhuan, there was not even a glimmer of hope to become a lord. Brother Tinlong is the 186th world-class Xuanhuan life form to follow the bloodline path, the horned man remarked. The bloodline path once gave birth to Lord Negu. Perhaps we, too, can create a miracle and produce another lord. Brother Guangyu, with your talent, you might have a chance. But I don't dare to have such thoughts. The red-nosed old man laughed heartily. I became a world-class Xuanhuan by unlocking my bloodline's potential. As for becoming a lord, I wouldn't even dream of it. I dare not even think about it either. Tinlong K said. Brother Guangyu, you're a fusion path practitioner. Your talent far surpasses ours. The horned man chuckled. Before breaking free from the cage, he had already comprehended 5 world-class Xuanhuan bloodlines. After becoming a world-class Xuanhuan, the immense elevation in life level allowed him to effortlessly grasp hundreds of world-class Xuanhuan bloodlines. Among fusion path practitioners, this is a fairly ordinary standard. But beings like Lord Negu and Lord Xingmeng who, in their weak state and before transcending the cage, could comprehend hundreds of world-class Xuanhuan bloodlines were the ones who demonstrated terrifying comprehension potential. Brother Tinlong, it's been several epochs since you became a world-class Xuanhuan life form. Has Lord Yuan still not summoned you? The horned man asked. No, Tinlong K replied, a trace of unease in his voice. The lords have countless clones. At least one is always stationed in the origin land, the horned man mused, puzzled. Even if they're away at war, it doesn't hinder them from summoning juniors or handling some ordinary matters. The emergence of a new world-class Xuanhuan is also a significant event. Why have they been delaying? The lords have their own arrangements. We need not worry about it, the red-nosed old man said with a smile. We just need to follow the lord's arrangements. The horned man paused, then laughed. Yes, we only need to follow the Lord's arrangements. Tinlong K nodded. As a newly ascended world-class Hunyuan life form, the lack of arrangements left him unsettled. The origin land beside the Dark Lake. The 7 lords gathered here, patiently awaiting the turning point of this war and the arrival of their future companion. The 7 lords Yuan, Jin, Wu Lan, Minghuang, Negu, Xingmeng, and Momen simultaneously turned their gazes toward the direction of Hunyuan Island. He broke through. Yuan's eyes burned with irrepressible excitement. He had walked the path from the weakest era of the practitioner faction when their entire faction was mere prey for the innate Hunyuan lifeforms. Back then, his strength alone could only protect a tiny region. Step by step, they had fought their way to this day. Every new lord born brought Yuan immense joy. Luo Feng's emergence meant their faction had gained yet another powerful existence. Brilliant. Lord Jin laughed, his silver-scaled face usually cold now radiant with a bright smile. From the time he was brought in, his actual seclusion has only lasted a little over 2.5 billion epochs, and he's already broken through. Xingmeng, he's far faster than you. The faster, the better. Xingmeng chuckled in admiration. Though he's still relatively inexperienced as a new lord, as a practitioner of the Hunyuan life and death Dao, his path is destined to surpass mine in direct combat. Lord Xingmeng exists across countless timelines past, present, and future and is of immense help to the practitioner's faction in matters of space-time. His ambush tactics are also the biggest threat for the innate Hunyuan lifeforms. But in head-on battles, what's needed is a sufficiently powerful lifeform and terrifying offensive attacks. Lord Wu Lan sighed. Just like Xingmeng using force to break through. Yes, breaking through with force. Lord Minghuang, Negu, and Momen were equally stirred. As lords, they understood the significance of breaking through with force. Aside from Lord Xingmeng, the other 6 had all first become world-class Hunyuan lifeforms, relying on the advantages of that life-level enhanced mental processing, observational abilities, and comprehension to grasp a Hunyuan-level Dao. But those who broke through with force were originally weak beings trapped within the cage, yet they forcibly comprehends the supreme Dao of Hunyuan. What kind of comprehension is that? Once they became lords, the immense leap in their life level elevates their mental faculties, observational abilities, and comprehension to new heights. Their strength also had the potential to continue growing. The lords had indeed grasped the essence of the highest level of power, but there were still differences in strength. Lord Xingmeng had taken that step forward, and Yuan, the most ancient among them, had taken half a step. In their eyes, Luo Feng who had broken through with force would undoubtedly take that step as well. The origin land is inherently special. After being refined and fortified with formations by the 7 of us, and hidden within this space-time, all auras and disturbances here are completely concealed. Lord Negu said. But Luo Feng's clone in his homeland once he attempts his breakthrough will be detected by the outside world. Don't worry. I've locked onto the space-time of Luo Feng's secluded chamber. The moment he fully breaks through, I'll alert him immediately. Lord Xingmeng declared. The other lords nodded. Luo Feng's breakthrough must remain secret. Yuan said firmly. Only then can our ambush succeed. We must strike these Hunyuan ancestors hard, make them pay a steep price. Lord Jin's eyes gleamed with killing intent. This war has been our most devastating yet. Countless world clusters have fallen, and innumerable lives have been extinguished. Lord Minghuang's eyes crackled with golden lightning. We must make these Hunyuan ancestors suffer a painful price. The birth of a new lord had to remain hidden. If Luo Feng is exposed, those Hunyuan ancestors might retreat temporarily. Even if they didn't, once they were mentally prepared and gathered their strength to counter an ambush, the effectiveness of their surprise attack would be greatly diminished. First, we need to wait for Luo Feng to complete his breakthrough. Yuan said. The 7 lords turned their attention to the peak of Hunyuan Island, where Luo Feng sat in seclusion within his chamber. After having learned from the failures of his previous 15 clones, Luo Feng had prepared himself for another long, grueling ordeal when attempting to create the Hunyuan life and death Dao this time. Yet, to his astonishment, when he was halfway through forging this Dao, an extraordinary phenomenon manifested. Wisps of deep azure energy emerged around the rune pattern diagram, swirling along with the flowing patterns. Luo Feng could sense that this deep azure energy was a form of supreme level power. The Dao is power itself. He could perceive the process clearly. The Hunyuan energy is the most fundamental force in the infinite Hunyuan space. But now, this energy was being drawn in by the half-formed Dao by Luo Feng, naturally transforming into the highest level of power. Even an incomplete Dao can manifest supreme level power. Luo Feng realized he was on the right path this time and had already completed the most critical part. A journey of 100 miles begins with a single step. Now was the time for him to go all out. Luo Feng continued perfecting this Xuanhuan life and death Dao, weaving more secret patterns into it. The massive rune patterns diagram now has azure, black, and deep azure patterns. The outer regions of the rune patterns diagram still had interwoven azure and black patterns, but the deeper he went, the more the three colors merged, eventually becoming one deep azure patterns forming the origin core. As the spiritual will consciousness system was fully completed, the entire rune pattern diagram faintly glowed with golden light. With the final step, the physical body system was perfectly completed. The rune patterns diagram shimmered with a faint bloody radiance, reminiscent to the blood scales of the star tower. A vast, flawless rune patterns diagram had taken form. Luo Feng gazed at it. This was the culmination of his endless effort, the most perfect Tao he had ever comprehended. At the moment of its completion, Luo Feng could feel his life now extended through the Tao itself. In the past, Luo Feng relied on his clones for survival. But now, the Tao had become part of his very existence. He could now rely on the Tao for his existence. Where the Tao is, he would be. Across the vast expanse of the infinite, he could manifest countless clone. Though small at first, these clones could absorb energy and grow. Finally. I have finally created the Xuanhuan life and death Tao. Luo Feng's emotions surged as he gazed upon the radiant rune patterns diagram before him. With a single thought, the diagram vanished without a trace. The Tao could manifest in physical form or it can be invincible. I finally did it. His actual seclusion had lasted less than 2.5 billion epochs, and yet he had succeeded. In the outside world, barely 2,000 epochs had passed. In such a short time, the tides of war had not shifted much. The origin world of the origin continent also remained intact. Luo Feng, congratulations on taking this step. The voice of Lord Xingmeng echoed in Luo Feng's ears. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to MTL World at Middle World 1 YouTube channel.